Good evening, everyone. Welcome to my channel now. So in today's class, we are going to talk about, we are going to continue with the chapter 5, Women Change the World. As you people know, 7 o'clock is the time for your 7th standard class, and today we are going through Civics, and the chapter is 5, Women Change the World. Till now, what we learned, this is the 3rd day of this chapter, and we learned a number of things till now. That women faced a lot of problem before going to school. Even they were not allowed to go to school, but they tried a lot. We went through a number of example of Solidary Devi and all, and we got to know about each and everybody, that how did they suffer in their life and how did they manage to study. Now we are coming to the present day. What is the time of schooling and education? How is the schooling nowadays and education nowadays? So as you people know, when we talk about nowadays situation, you understand it very well. That present day is basically that all the children are allowed to go to school. Yes, everybody is going to school, and going to school undoubtedly is very good. We find that a number of girls, if you observe that how many students are there in your class, means the number of boys and the number of girls, you can easily get to know, you can easily get an idea who are more, the girls and the boys. If you go for the ratio, that how many girls and boys are there in your school, so find it out, you will find there is a great difference. Not presently, but there was a great difference earlier. So if we go for this chapter, we find that schooling and education today. So what is the scene nowadays, we will get to know. Even the matter comes, how did we people get to know that what is the situation of education in India, means how many male and how many females are there to study and coming to school. So we find that actually what happens, that we are having, like India is having a system, and for the 10 years, that every 10 years there is a census. Census means it's the entire survey, the whole calculation is being done, that what is the population of the country, how many males, how many females. The people go to doorstep, the people who are responsible for it, they go to doorstep, they will even come to your place, and they will find out how many male members are there, what's their age, how many female members are there, what's their age, in there any adult, how much they are educated, who is a working person, who is not a working person. Each and every data they get to know, and through that data only they find out for the entire country that how many males and females are educated. Even they get to know that the caste, the religion, which is responsible and which is there for it. So here you can find the survey, and let me tell you, survey is always for 10 years. This is called census. So if I just talk to you about this tabular form, so what you get to know, we find that it is this educational statistics of MHRD. MHRD means Human Resource Department. It's of 2018, and what we find that the primary classes, means classes 1 to 5, who are studying. So we find the boys, total number of boys are 4.36, girls are 3.88, and total are this many students are, like the children are going to school at the primary level. But here what we find, at the upper class 6 to 8, we have 4.03, and secondary level we are having 17.04% are the people who go for the dropout, because we are talking about the average annual dropout rate in school education. So every time we find that these many children from primary, secondary and higher secondary classes, after the school, means they don't go for study. Dropout means they don't go for higher study. Just they go for primary school and they drop out. Upper primary, after that they drop out. But secondary, many students drop out. Even when you get to know the calculation, primary classes, you find here SC and ST category, these many people are leaving their education, they are dropping out from their education, and SC, ST and over here also. But in all the cases, what we find, there is a great difference between girls and boys, even the category wise. So what we find over here, When we go for this one, we find that the girls are, most of the time we find the girls are more who are dropping out. The boys are less who are dropping out. There may be a number of reasons. Even we got to know that SC and ST category is dropping out more and more. So what may be the reason behind? There are a number of reasons, and what those reasons are. So we get to know that there are a number of reasons. So first reason may be that they are not having much money, so they cannot bear it, means they cannot go to school for a longer period of time. If they have somewhat money, so they have a feeling that the boys should get the benefit of it because they will be the earning member of the family. So in this case, what we find, this is the one scene. Second, we find there may be a situation that the school is far away. School is far away, and it is really very difficult to send the girls as the area is not safe. Next point may be, if the school is very far, excuse me, and the children are not getting the transportation to reach to those places, that also creates a problem. There is again one more issue, that if the teacher is not available on the regular basis in the school premises, how the parents and why the parents will send their children to school. So we get to know a number of reasons over here because of which the students are, the children are not going to school, especially the girls and the Muslim girls and SC/ST girls. What is the matter? So we got to know a number of reasons are there because of it. So now we know even there may be some kind of cases that as you got to know about Om Prakash Valmiki in the third chapter, so you definitely know it was a kind of discrimination against by that teacher and the classmates as well. So the student also thought not to go to school. So there are a number of reasons here. If you just see here, all the boys this much, and boys and girls, when we find only these many percentage of boys and girls, and the boys of different categories and the SC/ST, we find here that there is a great discrimination. The people are not getting education in an equal manner because of a number of reasons. Now coming to the next point. Do you think if something is happening, something wrong is happening with the woman, to the woman, do they ever raise their voice? Do they ever go against somebody? We get to know, yes, undoubtedly they go against to somebody. And who those people are and how do they go against? Why do they go against? And how do they go against? So we get to know that women's movement. This is the topic here, women's movement. So when we go for women's movement, we find that each and everybody has a right. Like it's only that the boys will go because we are having the scarcity of money. The boys will go because the school is very far away. The boys will go because the transportation is not available, so it's not safe for the girls. A number of reasons are there. Maybe the reasons are genuine. But is it okay that the women and the girls will not study? Undoubtedly no. It's not okay if the women and girls are not studying, not going to school. In this case, it was a situation which was found by the government through this kind of census only, that the very less girls are going to educate, like they are going to schools, and it was undoubtedly a big issue. So the government made a rule that right to education, which is known as RTE, means right to education, means each and everybody has the right to get the education. That is called right to education. Now it became the rule that not a single parent can stop their children to go to school, whatever the reason is. Even you got to know from the previous chapter that there is midday meal available, through which the people who are having who are poor and not able to send their children and they want their children to work, in that case they can easily manage with this one, right? So the government found that as the girls and the women were not getting education, they were not getting the benefits, they were not treated equally, so the government made a number of rules. What happens if the rules are not being followed, or what happens if the rule is not made? So is there anybody who can guide the government to make rules? Yes. We find if the women find that it is something wrong happening to them and they are not treated equally, in that case, what do? They go for a number of movements. Means they go against those people who are stopping them to do. They are going against of the government if it is not, they are not being treated equally. So now we are going to talk about some kind of legal actions, some kind of things which the women are doing, the way they can protest and the way they can convince the government to work for them. So these are the scenes we can easily get to know about. So now coming to the next point, that what are the movements of the girls? Yes. So first point we get to know is the campaigning. Campaigning is what? It just, you can say that a kind of meeting, a kind of thing, the way of protest when a number of people merge together, mix together and get united together and go against the government and about somebody. So here what is campaigns are to fight discrimination and violence. So what kind of campaigns the women went through? There may be a scene of physical and mental violence to the women at home. Means the women were being bitten by or mentally harassed by the family members, by their in-laws or by the family members at their house, which is also known as domestic violence. So the women, it was found that the women are facing a lot of problem of domestic violence. Means the women are being bitten bitterly. In that case, what happened when the government got to know this is the kind of scene, the government made a rule. And what kind of rule? It was the ladies went for a number of campaigns and they started telling that this is something going wrong against them. Even the government found that the women were facing the problem of sexual harassment at the workplace. Means wherever they were going for job, it was a kind of sexual harassment. Means any of the employee was sexually harassing the lady. So that was also the scene and the women started protesting against it and they started making a campaign against it. So when they went through all these kind of situations, even it was happening, you are too late, dear. So it was happening long back. And it was happening in the school, it was happening in the workplace, and sometimes it was happening with them at home as well. So here you just see, there again a case came that after the marriage, the girl was being harassed only for the dowry. Means dowry, I think you know the way, dowry is a kind of money which is given to the bride side, which is given by the bride side to the groom side. दूल्हे के घर पे दिया जाता है दुल्हन के साइड से, that is a cash amount. So it was found any family which is not giving a proper amount of dowry and they failed to do that. So there were a number of cases. There were a number of cases later. Means there were a number of cases that the girl, like the bride, was being burnt and she was murdered for that. When the government got to know that it is the scene, it is the kind of scene here, so we find it's not at all correct. So there came a rule by the government. When the government get to know, like the women all made a campaign, they all stand together and went across against the government and to make the government aware that these are the kinds of things going on. When the ladies started doing all this kind of oppose, newspapers, public issues, the newspaper, society, everybody started telling. So what happened? The government made a rule that dowry is an offense. Coming to the another way is raising awareness. What does it mean by raising awareness? So when we talk about raising awareness, it is just like that the women, as they were not getting much education, so in that case what was happening? They were being treated, they were being taught for different things. A number of things they were being taught that if you do like this, you can get all that. So how it was being done, raising awareness, just like Nukkad Natak. If you have heard about Nukkad Natak, a number of people are making a group and they all are standing together and performing before the people. And these actually Nukkad Nataks are related to what? To the social issues. For an example, the raising awareness was related to that a lady should go to hospital, a lady should have care of her health after delivery or before delivery, the many times she has to go to hospital. Her education is being much and much important than a male, even because she is only the making the society. So all this kind of raising awareness, it came through the pamphlets, the charts, the nukka nataks, and it was shown through the ads and all, that yes, this is your right. The women were even not knowing that they were having these kind of rights, that they can go against of it else also. Like they can go against, if something wrong happens to them, they can undoubtedly go to the police for it. But it was just like raising awareness. They were made aware about the things, that the kind of rights they have. This is the way. Now protesting, there also came a time when the women were suppressed and the women started protesting. They became like there was a kind of violation, that women were bitten, the women were not getting education, they were bitten for number of reasons, a number of things were there. So what happened, they started protesting. They started with the sticks, they started with a number of banners and pamphlets and all, and they went all along the street. They merged together, they made a group together, and to show that yes, this is our demand, this is the kind of problem we women are facing in our country. And then it drew the attention of the public, press, media, and it reached to the government that this kind of problem is being faced by the women. So here what we got to know about the campaigning, we got to know about the rallies, we got to know about the protesting. These are the very important ways. Along with that, one more way is there which is helping the women and other people as well, to let them know, to let the government know what is wrong and what is right and what should be done. So the last one we have is showing solidarity. So if you find this, all these matters, what they are related to, these are all the kinds of women's movement which could show that what I think I had given you yesterday only, that we don't have the evidence that who was the first lady to study, because at the earlier time or older time also the women were studying, and we have a number of Padmavati, and we have a number of scholars that time also who were studying that time. So showing solidarity means something happens to them and everybody is along with that person. So here comes solidarity. So what comes here, that there are a number of ways how the woman can protest, how the woman can make the society aware what is happening to them and what kind of situation they are living in. And in that, what happens overall through all these things, we find the government is there to understand all those things. And when government gets to know all these things, the government is also making the laws. We think that the government is making the laws, and what the government is doing, only the government making the laws in favor of the women, that if something happens with them, they are there in a situation that they go and fight for their right. So this was the point we talked about actually, and we tried to get to know about what was happening and what was not happening with them. How means when we went through the entire chapter, we got to know the initial situation of the women when they were not having the right. Even if you remember, we talked about the superstition made to the women not to study was the husband would die if she studies. So there were a number of things because of which the women were told not to study. But as the women got to know, studying is undoubtedly very important and they have to study, they should know their rights. Something was happening. You know, every time it's told that something crosses the limit is the hike. And there is a time of struggle, there is a time of protest. And here the same applied with the women. They were not getting any kind of facility, maybe because of some genuine reasons as well. But the thing is, we have to change the society. We should have the feeling to change the society and the women, and we have the right to make the other people aware what we are suffering, how we are suffering. So in all these cases, what happens? We find that that's something going wrong, so we should protest. And the way only the women started protesting, and here you can get to know 8th March. Always 8th March is always celebrated as International Women's Day. So what we find here, all the women get together and they celebrate and they renew their struggles. Any kind of problem they are facing, they are there to solve it. So we are done here with this chapter, and along with that we are coming to the question answer part. So how do you think stereotypes about what women can do or cannot do affect women's right to equality? Undoubtedly. If we are having a being stereotypes means what? That we are having a feeling the woman cannot do this, right? The woman cannot do this. In that case, what happens? It is always told that women can do this only and women cannot do this. If this kind of situation persists, the women are there in a situation to think and to decide, and what happens, what are the ways it is affecting the women's right. If it is told that the woman cannot be a doctor, she cannot be an engineer, so in that case what will happen? If she wants to get education and she wants to be an engineer or a scientist, she won't able to go for it, whether she is very good in science or not. Coming to question number 2, list one reason why learning the alphabet was so important to women like Ras Sundari Devi and Ramabai and Rokeya. Undoubtedly, it was a time when we talk about Ras Sundari Devi, Ramabai and Rokeya, we get to know that these were the women who were not getting any chance to read. They were not getting any opportunity to go to school. So it was undoubtedly learning alphabet was also very important because they were not taught by anybody else. They learned themselves and they got to read and write and everything themselves only. So undoubtedly they were very much important. If we talk about the reason, so we get to know that they really want to study and they were knowing that what are the benefits of getting education. Coming to question number 3, poor girls drop out of school because they are not interested in getting an education. Do you think it is right? Poor girls drop out of school because they are not interested in getting an education. They are not interested in getting an education means the poor girl does not want to study and does not want to go to school. What do you think? Is it true? The question is telling us, explain why this statement is not true. Undoubtedly, this statement is not at all true because we know that poor girls are not going or they drop out of school because of a number of reasons. But the reason cannot be that they are not interested in getting education. They are interested for what? They are interested to go. But there are a number of reasons they are not able to. What the reasons may be? They are poor. The parents cannot afford. There is no transport facility and the school is very far. There is no regular teacher available. So what we get to know that there are a number of reasons because of which the girls drop out from the school, but not that they don't want to study. Coming to question number 4, can you describe 2 methods of struggle? Okay, so coming off that, can you describe 2 methods of struggle that the women's movement used to raise issues? 2 methods. We got to know about 4 methods right now. That was campaigning, protesting, and again we went to talk about a number of, means total number of 4 struggles we got to know about, 4 methods, and you people have to write only about 2 methods of struggle. So let me tell you very clear, don't go for only 2 because if the question comes in the exam for 4 methods, so you should learn all the 4 methods. So what those 4 methods are? The 4 methods are showing solidarity, then campaigning, protesting, raising awareness. And because of these are the 4 issues, they are the 4 methods of struggle and what the women can, how the women can raise their issues. Now you see, if you had to organize a struggle against stereotypes about women can or cannot do, what method would you employ from the ones that you have read about. So there are four kind of ways, the method shown to you. Now you people have to decide which one you should take and why would you choose this particular method. So is it showing solidarity or protesting or campaigning or something else? What are the issues? What are the ways you want to go through? Undoubtedly, if I'm there, I will protest, right? It depends on the person. I can protest also, I can go for the campaign also. But campaign and protest, there is a big difference. Protest can be violent, but the campaign is never a violent one. So the people are there in a different way, and the girls and the women also got to know that how should they behave and how should they fight for their right? So the chapter which we talked about, women change the world. So here we can easily get to know that women change the world means what? Women are there in a situation nowadays who are ready to change the world, right? They are ready to change the world. How? They only fought for their right. They only made themselves very mature that yes, this I need to do, this is good and I should go for it. And they really fought for it. In this chapter, you definitely got to know that Rokeya Begum or Ras Sundari, there was nobody to help them out. But here, we get to know that all these things are happening because of these things only, right? So if we are able, like if in this from this chapter also we can always say that it is told that women are weak. Women are weak. So we get to know that if women are weak, they can also struggle against the government to get their rights. Fine. So till now, if you have any doubt, just let me know and we can end up this chapter as well. Fine. So I hope there is no doubt at all. So you can leave the class. Fine. Thank you so much. And if you really like the video, just give a thumb and share with your friends. If you find it is good, and you should share with your friends who are really in need to help like to get kind of education in this COVID-19 situation. So undoubtedly what you need to do, you just share it. After this class, you can share it. And before the class also, you can share the link to with them. Thank you so much.